What if the greatest victory lies not in overpowering an opponent but outsmarting them? Picture this, a game of chess where power is not defined by the number of pieces on the board, but by the cunning and foresight of the player guiding them. This is the essence of strategy, an art form that transcends time and culture. One of the most renowned strategists of all time, Sun Tzu, authored a timeless masterpiece called The Art of War. This ancient text, still relevant today, offers profound insights into the power of strategic thinking. Today, we'll be journeying into the heart of Chapter 3, titled Attack by Stratagem. Here, Sun Tzu emphasizes the significance of overcoming opponents through superior strategy rather than direct conflict. It's not about brute force. It's about outmaneuvering, outthinking, and outplaying the adversary. So, buckle up, strategy enthusiasts, as we prepare to delve into the art of strategic victory, as laid out by the legendary Sun Tzu. To fight or not to fight? That is the question Sun Tzu urges us to consider. This timeless wisdom from The Art of War resonates even in our modern world, where conflicts can be as subtle as a boardroom disagreement or as critical as a diplomatic standoff. It's all about knowing when to engage in battle and, more importantly, when to avoid it. Consider, for instance, a diplomatic maneuver. Say two nations are at odds. One nation, instead of resorting to military force, uses strategic diplomacy. They employ negotiation tactics, form alliances, and leverage economic power to sway the balance in their favor. The result? They manage to avoid a costly and destructive war, achieving their objectives without a single shot fired. That's Sun Tzu's art of avoiding battle in action. Now let's shift the scene to a corporate setting. Imagine a small startup facing off against a giant corporation. The startup could try to compete head-on, but that's a battle they're unlikely to win. So instead, they find a niche, a space where the behemoth doesn't dominate. They focus on innovation, customer service, or perhaps a unique product. They avoid the direct battle, and in doing so, they not only survive, but thrive. But how does one know when to fight and when to avoid battle? Sun Tzu suggests that it comes down to understanding your strengths and weaknesses, as well as those of your opponent. It's about gathering intelligence, making calculated decisions, and being adaptable. These examples illustrate the power of Sun Tzu's principles in a contemporary context. They remind us that avoiding battle doesn't mean running away. It means choosing your battles wisely, understanding that sometimes the most powerful move is not to move at all. As we navigate our personal and professional lives, let's remember this wisdom. Let's think strategically, not just reactively. Let's remember that the real victory lies not in defeating our opponents, but in reaching our goals. And so, we circle back to Sun Tzu's profound insight. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. A reminder that the greatest victories are those won without a battle. And isn't that a strategy worth mastering? In the theater of conflict, it's not always what you see that matters, but what you don't see. This line of wisdom rings true as we delve into the third chapter of Sun Tzu's The Art of War, where the artful dance of deception and adaptability takes center stage. Picture a chess game. The players, poised and still, gaze at the board, their minds racing with strategies and counter-strategies. It's not merely the pieces they move that determine the outcome, but the ones they leave untouched, the potential threats and bluffs they create silently. Such is the essence of deception in strategy. In the words of Sun Tzu, all warfare is based on deception. In the realm of conflict, whether it's a battlefield, a boardroom, or a negotiation table, the ability to deceive isn't about dishonesty. It's about creating perceptions, shaping the narrative, influencing the opponent's expectations, and then, in an opportune moment, defying them. But deception alone isn't enough. It must be coupled with adaptability. To quote Sun Tzu once more, "Water shapes its course according to the nature of the ground over which it flows." Much like water, a good strategist shapes their actions according to the circumstances. They remain flexible, ready to change course when the situation demands, always staying one step ahead. And how does one stay ahead? Through espionage, through gathering intelligence. Knowledge is power, and in the context of strategy, it's the power to anticipate, to prepare, and to adapt. An understanding of the enemy's plans, their strengths and weaknesses, their tendencies and fears can be the most potent weapon in a strategist's arsenal. As we delve deeper into Sun Tzu's teachings, we realize that the art of war isn't about brute force. It's about the mind, the ability to outthink, outmaneuver, and outperform the enemy, not through sheer strength, but through superior strategy. Let's reflect on these profound insights. How can we apply them to our lives? How can we become masters of deception and adaptability, turning potential confrontations into opportunities for strategic advantage? To be unpredictable is to be invincible. As we wrap up this scene, remember, in the theater of conflict, the most dangerous enemy is the one you cannot predict. How can we apply Sun Tzu's wisdom to our daily life and professional challenges? This question forms the cornerstone of our discussion today. Sun Tzu's principles of strategy, while primarily developed for warfare, are versatile and timeless, offering value in a myriad of situations we encounter in our daily lives. Let's consider problem solving, for instance. Just like a great general, we need to assess our problems critically, understand their root causes, and explore various solutions. The principle of defeating the enemy without fighting can translate to finding a resolution without escalating the conflict through diplomacy, compromise, or even by changing our perspective. In the realm of negotiation, Sun Tzu's emphasis on knowing when to engage and when to avoid battle is invaluable. By understanding our strengths and weaknesses and those of our opponents, we can choose the right time to negotiate and the right issues to negotiate on, maximizing our chances of a favorable outcome. Finally, in decision-making, the principles of adaptability and espionage come to the fore. Just as a wise general adapts to the changing battlefield and gathers intelligence about the enemy, we too must be flexible in our approach, adapting to changing circumstances and making informed decisions based on the best available information. In essence, Sun Tzu teaches us that strategy is not just about winning battles, but about navigating life with wisdom, adaptability, and foresight. The battlefield may have changed, but the principles of strategy remain the same. As we close the chapter on attack by stratagem, let's reflect on the lessons we've learned. We've discovered the art of knowing when to avoid conflict, the power of deception as a strategic tool, and the crucial role of adaptability in achieving our goals. These wisdoms from Sun Tzu are as relevant today as they were thousands of years ago. Looking ahead, Chapter 4 promises more enlightening insights. Join us next time as we continue our journey through the art of war. Until then, consider how you might outsmart rather than overpower your own challenges.